تمنى بنفسي الأبية وأمنية الحر لقيا المنية. تمنى بنفسي الأبية وأمنية الحر لقيا المنية وداعا لنا.
After 9 days, the leader, the Amir al-Mu'mineen's reply came back. And needless to say, the Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ma'mun, he was very upset. He was livid. And he began accusing the believers, like these scholars, like Imam Ahmed, of being kafirs, of innovation, of committing shirk, of being hypocrites. And he began calling them all sorts of names. And at the same time, he sent a threat for all these scholars who are standing up to the truth. And he said that, look, they better retract their views, and they better drop their position, and they be given an opportunity to do tawbah, to repent. And if they don't, then all of them should be gathered, all of them should be imprisoned, and all of them should be brought to me, and I'll deal with them. And so the same message went out for Imam Ahmed. And soon, all the scholars, all the ulama, who stood up for what was right, that the Quran is the speech of Allah, they were rounded up, they were shackled, they were taken to prison, and they were marched to Syria. From Baghdad, they were marched to Syria, to the court of Ma'mun. And this fitna, this trouble began to spread all over the Muslim world. And scholars from Egypt and from the Hijaz, and from what we know now in Saudi Arabia, and all over the Muslim lands, anybody who said that the Quran is the speech of Allah, they began to be arrested, and they began to be taken in, and they began to be tortured and persecuted, and they were brought to the court of Ma'mun. In Baghdad, in those days, this is roughly around the year 218, after the Hijrah. In Baghdad, there were roughly 26 scholars who had held pretty strong. But after torture and persecution and so on, 17 of them, they gave in. And so this left about 9 of them. Out of the 9, 7 of them were tortured so bad that they eventually were killed or they passed away under torture. 2 of them remained. Those 2 were Imam Ahmed and his student Muhammad ibn Nuh, rahimahumullah. Imam Ahmed relates that now these 2 were taken from Baghdad to Syria. On the way to Syria, he says that we made various stops along the way for rest. He said that I was in shackles, and the shackles were heavier than my own body. And we were dragging ourselves, walking, and sometimes we were put on these mules, going towards the Khalifa in Syria. He says on the way we stopped at this one place. And when we stopped at this one place, there was a man who came to both of us, meaning himself and his student, Muhammad ibn Nuh. And he said, Ayyukum Ahmed ibn Hanbal. This was a man who came from the desert, a regular everyday Muslim. And so he said, who of you is Ahmed ibn Hanbal? So the people who were there, the guards and Muhammad ibn Nuh, they pointed to Imam Ahmed and said, this is the person. So the person looked into his eyes and he said, Assalamu alaikum. Ya Imam, he said, Innaka wafidun nas, fala takun shu'man alayhim. He said, Oh Imam, look, you are the ambassador or the envoy of the people. And so don't become bad news for them. Don't become a calamity for the people. In other words, what he was telling him, stand up strong. He said, Innaka ra'san nas al-yawm. Today, you are the leader of all the people. He said to Imam Ahmed, فَإِيَّاكَ أَن تُجِيبَهُمْ إِلَى مَا يَدْعُونَكَ إِلَيْهِ فَيُجِيبُ النَّاسِ فَتَحْمِلُ أَوْزَارَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. He said, don't you dare acquiesce or respond to what they're calling you to do. Don't you dare agree to them, because then all the masses of Muslims, they will also begin to agree. All of us are looking up to you. So don't you dare give in. Otherwise everybody else will give in, and then you will carry their sins on the day of judgment. Because you slipped, so everyone else is going to slip. So, and then he went on and he said, إِن كُنْتَ تُحِبُّ اللَّهِ, if you really love Allah, فَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَنْتَ عَلَيْهِ. Be patient in the situation that you find yourself in. فَإِنَّهُ مَا بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ إِلَّا أَن تُقْتَلْ. فَإِنَّهُ مَا بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ إِلَّا أَن تُقْتَلْ. He said, because, listen, the only thing that stands between you and paradise is for you to be killed, for you to be executed. وَإِن لَمْ تُقْتَلْ تَمُتْ. And if you are not assassinated, if you're not executed, then you're gonna eventually die. وَإِنْ عِشْتَ. And if you happen to survive, if you happen to live, عِشْتَ حَمِيدًا. You'll live a very praiseworthy, a very honorable life. People will all praise you. Imam Ahmed says, when he heard this person speak, right after he spoke, he said, "Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh," and he left. He turned around and left, went back into the desert. So Imam Ahmed began asking, who was this person? And it was told to him that this was a Bedouin who had come out of the desert, but he was also a poet, and his name was Jabir ibn Amir. And so Imam Ahmed says that what this person said helped me to increase my determination and made me ever more determined to refuse to capitulate to what they were calling me to refuse to do what they were telling me to do. It made me that much stronger. Brothers and sisters, a few words here and there by someone can have a powerful impact in our lives. Brothers and sisters, this man came and he was trying to strengthen Imam Ahmed, trying to give him some strength, trying to tell him to hold strong. And today, brothers and sisters, the same message goes out to all of you. To hold strong in the midst of all the problems, in the midst of all the oppression. To hold strong. To hold very, very strong, because paradise is very near. And not to give up the things that you're doing as far as being a Muslim. To hold on and keep practicing your Islam and become ever more stronger. The more the oppression increases, the stronger you get in your Islam. This is what the man was telling him. That look, you today are the leader. You today represent the truth. And in the same way, all of you who participate regularly in the masjid, you today represent the truth. And there's a lot of people who are looking at you to see how you're going to do when it comes to the truth. Those of you who have various ayat of the Quran memorized, those of you who have some Islamic knowledge, those of you who have been fortunate to memorize the Quran, those of you who are going to an Islamic school, all of those things, other people outside are looking at you to see how you are going to fare under this pressure. Are you going to hold strong? Because they're looking to you to be inspired, whether you know it or not. And if you give up, they're going to give up. Imam Ahmed later on, one of the famous statements that he made, and we'll talk about it later, he said, as he was being tortured, they were telling him to give up a little bit, and to go easy, and to compromise. And he said, Zallatul alim, Zallatul alam. He said, look, the fall of the scholar means the fall of the community, means the fall of the people. If I slip, the community will slip. That was his point. So brothers and sisters, today is an important opportunity for us to stand strong in what we believe in, like Imam Ahmed stood strong at that time. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يغفر لكم.